Welcome! So glad you're back. I'm Brittany from Hawaii Wedding Studio. Today, we look into one of our favorite stylists, Moana Zambrana of Intricate Beauty, to discuss her philosophy of ministry through artistry. Learn how she masters the humidity-proof Oahu Glow and helps brides feel peaceful and chosen on their big day. It's about identity, not just vanity. All right, let's get engaged.
Pulling back, trying to talk into facts. Stay a while, press and play. You're smart, great, every day.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. I'm Sam.
And I'm Riley.
And today, Riley, we are packing our virtual bags. We're headed straight to the middle of the Pacific.
We're going to Oahu.
We are. But we are not talking about the best beaches or where to get the best poke, although now I'm kind of hungry.
Focus, Sam.
Right. Okay. We are talking high-stakes logistics. We're talking about the collision of two, very powerful and opposing forces.
Oh, this sounds dramatic.
It is. On one side, you have the pressure of the most photographed day of your life, your wedding. And on the other, you've got the absolute unbridled chaos of tropical thermodynamics.
That is a very, very dramatic way to describe wedding makeup.
But is it, though? I've seen the data.
Yes.
You spend $50, $60, maybe $100,000 on a destination wedding in Hawaii.
Right.
You fly in your guests, you rent the venue, you buy a dress that costs more than my first car.
Right.
But if that humidity hits 85% and the trade winds are blowing, that entire investment is at risk.
You know, when you put it that way, you're not wrong. It really is kind of a single point of failure.
It is.
If the bride doesn't feel like herself, or worse, if she literally starts melting before the appetizers come out, the whole vibe just changes.
Exactly. So today, we're breaking down the work of Moana Zambrana and her company, Intricate Beauty.
She's based in Oahu, and we should be clear, we're not just talking about someone who's good with mascara wand.
No, not at all. She was nominated as the 2025 Makeup Artist of the Year.
Which is a huge deal. That's, the top tier of the industry.
The heavy hitters. And we have a ton of material to get through, portfolio reviews, service menus, and this really fascinating interview she did with Reverend James Chun.
And our mission for this deep dive is pretty clear, right?
Yeah, we want to answer a specific question. Is hiring a high-end luxury stylist is it just a vanity purchase, something you do to feel fancy? Or is it a functional non-negotiable, especially in a place like Hawaii?
I'm going to go ahead and spoil the ending a little bit here. It is absolutely a non-negotiable.
Strong words.
I stand by them. And honestly, after digging into Moana's philosophy and her technical approach, I think everyone listening will agree. This isn't just about looking pretty.
It's about survival.
It really is. It's about survival.
Survival of the fittest, or at least survival of the foundation.
Exactly.
So let's start with that philosophy because, from my limited outsider perspective, the beauty industry often feels like it's built on insecurity.
Oh, for sure. The whole corrective approach.
Here are your flaws. Here's the expensive product to hide them.
Fix this, conceal that. Yeah.
But looking at Moana's interview with Reverend Chun, she's coming from a completely different place. She talks about ministry through artistry.
Right.
And when I first read that, I was like, okay, are we in a church or are we in a salon?
It's a great question. But for her, that makeup chair it's a transitional space. It's almost sacred. She shares this origin story about how she got into the business.
The mirror moment.
The mirror moment. It wasn't because she loved color theory. It was because of what she saw happen in the mirror.
Okay.
She describes seeing women soften.
Soften how? Like physically?
Physically and emotionally. She realized that when she did her job right, the women weren't just staring at the makeup. They weren't analyzing the eyeliner.
They were looking at themselves.
They were staring at themselves. She says they were reminded of who they already were.
That is such a subtle distinction, but it's everything. It's the difference between a disguise and a reveal.
Precisely. And that's where that ministry part comes in. You walk in stressed out. You're carrying all the baggage of wedding planning, family drama, jet lag.
Maybe you're hungry.
Maybe you're hungry. And her job is to strip all that away so you can walk down the aisle as your true self. She calls it identity versus vanity.
I love that.
Yeah.
Identity versus vanity. Vanity says, look at this paint on my face.
Right. And identity says, look at me.
And we've all seen the alternative, right? We've all been to that wedding where the bride turns the corner and you have that split second of,
who is that?
Who is that and what have they done with Susan?
Susan doesn't wear glitter.
Exactly. And Moana's signature aesthetic, she calls it soft, radiant, and intentional, is the antidote to the "where is Susan" problem.
And she wants the bride to feel, and I love this list of words, peaceful, chosen, confident, covered.
Covered is the word that really jumped out at me there. That sounds so protective.
It does. And she explains that the makeup is almost like armor, but soft armor. It's a layer of protection that actually lets you be vulnerable in a really public moment.
Okay, so that's the philosophy, and it's beautiful. I'm feeling very zen just talking about it.
Right.
But let's pivot to the hard science.
Right.
Because you can have all the spiritual peace in the world, Riley, but if it's 90 degrees and you're in direct sunlight on the North Shore,
Right.
physics is going to try to ruin your day.
Physics is undefeated. And this is where the expert part really, really matters. We need to talk about the Oahu Glow.
Is that just a nice marketing term for sweating profusely?
Yeah, it's a nice way of saying sweat management, yes. But it's so much more technical. In the interview, Moana says something I think every traveler needs to hear. Hawaii's humidity teaches you to respect nature, not fight it.
Break that down, because my strategy for humidity is just to complain about it.
Right.
What happens when a standard mainland makeup routine meets that island humidity?
That's a disaster, an absolute disaster. If you use those heavy silicone-based foundations, things that don't breathe, you basically create a greenhouse effect on your face.
A greenhouse effect.
Yes.
On my face.
Yes. Your skin heats up, it tries to sweat to cool itself down, but the sweat is trapped.
Oh, no.
And eventually, the oil and sweat just break through and the makeup literally slides off. Or worse, it gets patchy.
That sounds horrific. So how does she solve it? She can't change the weather.
No, but she changes the technique. It's all about prep and layering. She uses breathable, long-wear formulas, but applies them in these thin, strategic layers. It's not about caking it on.
And she mentioned strategic setting. I'm guessing that's not just more powder?
Oh, God, no. If you pile powder on top of sweat, you get kick batter.
Ew.
Strategic setting means knowing the face. You want the high points, the cheekbones, bridge of the nose to have a glow. That looks healthy. That's the Oahu Glow.
But not the T-zone.
But you need the center of the face, the T-zone, to be matte. If you're shiny everywhere, you just look greasy. If you're matte everywhere, you look flat and kind of dead in photos.
So it's basically sculpting with light reflection.
Precisely. And in Hawaii, the light is different. It's harsh. It bounces off the ocean. And Moana actually uses that as her mood board. She wants the skin to have that same luminosity as the sun hitting the water.
Which sounds poetic, but that's really, really hard to do without looking oily.
Extremely hard. That's why you pay the pro. You can't learn that on YouTube the night before.
And we haven't even talked about hair.
Oh, the hair.
As someone whose hair turns into a dandelion puff the second I step off the plane in Honolulu, I can only imagine the struggle.
It's hygroscopic, Sam.
Bless you.
No, I mean, hair is hygroscopic. It literally absorbs water from the air. In Hawaii, the air is basically water.
So it swells up and you get frizz.
You get frizz. Or if your hair is fine, it just goes limp and heavy.
So what's the strategy there? Is it just buckets of hairspray? Helmet hair?
No, because then it looks rigid. And Moana is so clear about this. She says, your hairstyle shouldn't just look beautiful. It should feel like it belongs to you.
And if it's stiff and crunchy, that doesn't feel like you.
Not at all. So she has to assess the density, the texture, the movement. She won't force a style that the hair can't naturally support.
That's that respecting nature thing again.
It is. So if a bride brings in a Pinterest picture of that, sleek glass hair look, but she has porous, curly hair and an outdoor wedding, Moana's going to have to guide her to something else.
And she's also big on gentle transitions, right?
The second look, yeah, it's huge right now.
But she's not talking about a full wash and redo.
No, who has time for that? She's talking about evolution. You start with the hair up and secure for that windy ceremony. Then for the reception, maybe you let it down, make it a bit wilder, pump up the highlighter.
Ceremony vibe to party vibe.
Exactly. It's efficient, but it also signals a psychological shift for the bride. Like, the hard part's over, now let's celebrate.
Speaking of hard parts,
Yeah?
what about the traveler, the destination bride? A huge chunk of her clients are flying in.
Most of them, yeah.
And flying is just terrible for your skin. The dehydration, the stress. So what is the number one thing she tells these brides to do?
It is so disappointingly simple, but nobody does it.
Drink water.
Well, yes, but specifically, slow down.
Easier said than done when you've got 20 relatives asking where the rehearsal dinner is.
I know, but listen to the logic. She says to arrive early, not the day before. Give your body 2 or 3 days.
Let your skin adjust.
Let your skin adjust. Hydrate. And most importantly, she says, do not try new products.
Oh, that is the classic trap. That's my wedding week. Let me try this exotic acid peel I bought online.
It's a catastrophe waiting to happen. But her advice goes deeper than just avoiding a rash. She believes in this inside-out concept. She says, your glow will always reflect what's happening within.
That sounds like a metaphor, but there's actual biology there, right? Cortisol.
100%. If you are rushing, stressed, running on adrenaline, your cortisol spikes. That causes inflammation,
Breakouts, puffiness.
dullness, everything. No amount of concealer can fully hide a system that's in fight or flight mode.
So when she tells a bride to slow down, she's actually saying pre-treat your canvas by calming your nervous system.
Exactly. My inner glow is usually just caffeine and anxiety, so I get it. But for a bride, that rest is basically a cosmetic treatment.
Okay, we've covered the philosophy, the physics, and the prep. Now I want to look at the menu, because we keep saying this is a luxury service.
It's not drugstore prices.
It is not. I'm looking at the price list for Intricate Beauty. We've got the Intricate Bridal Experience, the Bridal Couture Experience, and then the big one, the Luxury Bridal Glam Package.
Which rings in at $2,635.
That is a very specific number. And look, for some people, that's a lot. But we have to talk about the value. What are you actually buying?
You're buying insurance, Sam.
Explain.
Think about the total wedding budget. The venue, the photographer, the videographer. You are spending thousands and thousands to capture images of one thing.
The couple.
The couple. If the bride's face melts off in hour 2, or if she just hates how she looks in the mirror, every single dollar you spend on photography is devalued.
So you're protecting the asset.
In a cold economic sense, yes. But look at what's included. It's not just, I show up and paint your face. It's a bespoke beauty experience.
It's the trial, the skin prep, the second look.
But mostly, you're paying for the calm. You're paying for Moana to come into your suite, manage the energy, deal with the lighting, manage the timeline, and be the Zen master while your aunt is freaking out about the seating chart.
That's a really good point. You're hiring a buffer, someone who isn't family, who isn't stressed, who's just there for you.
You're hiring an atmosphere. For her clients, that unparalleled service is the standard. They aren't paying for mascara. They're paying for the guarantee of perfection and peace.
And speaking of atmosphere and peace, there's a connection here I think is really special.
Whoa, I loved this part.
We mentioned Reverend James Chun, who did the interview with her.
The interviewer, right.
But he's not just a podcaster. He's a wedding officiant. And they reveal that he actually officiated Moana's wedding.
It's such a tight circle. And it totally informs how they work together now. Moana talked about looking back on her own ceremony, and she didn't mention the flowers. She remembered the sincerity of the ceremony James conducted.
She said she felt seen and understood.
Yeah. And being celebrated is easy. Everyone claps. But being understood is so much more intimate.
And that shared history impacts the weddings they work on together now. It's team dynamics.
A huge factor. You know, if the makeup artist and the officiant have what she calls a built-in rhythm, the stress level in the room just plummets. They create that covering we talked about. It's like a safety net for the couple.
It makes it feel less like a production and more like a covenant.
That's the word she uses. She says her favorite weddings aren't even the massive ones.
Really?
No. She loves the quiet elopements, just the couple, the wind, the ocean. She says those moments remind her that marriage is a covenant, not just a celebration.
That really grounds the whole thing, doesn't it?
It does, and it brings us right back to what Intricate Beauty is actually selling. It's not pretty. The theme is preparation.
Psychological preparation.
Yes. Sitting in that chair isn't vanity, it's a ritual. It's the final step of preparing yourself to step into a new identity. She wants her brides to feel ready and excited to walk toward the man that fell in love with her, knowing she is already enough.
Knowing she is already enough. That's the kicker, isn't it? You're not hiring her to make you into someone else.
You're hiring her to polish the diamond so you can be the most confident version of yourself.
We started this talking about humidity and foundation, and we ended up talking about self-worth.
That's the power of a true expert. They're half artist, half therapist.
And in Hawaii, half meteorologist.
Very true.
So let's wrap this up with some actionable takeaways for you, the listener. If you are planning a wedding, whether it's in Oahu or just somewhere with weather.
First, prioritize the person who is literally in your face right before you walk down the aisle. Do not skimp on the artistry. It is non-negotiable.
Second, respect the environment. Don't fight the humidity. Work with it.
And third, slow down. Your skin knows when you're stressed. hydrate, rest, and please don't try new chemicals on your face 24 hours before the wedding.
Solid advice. And hey, if you are sold on this and you're looking to book Moana, the sources say you can book her services through the Hawaii Wedding Studio in their wedding packages.
That's a hot tip right there. Book the pro. Get the glow.
Get the glow. I like that. But this whole conversation leaves me with one final provocative thought.
What's that?
We live in a world that is obsessed with filters. Facetune, AI, transformation videos.
Yeah.
We're constantly trying to digitize our faces into something better.
We are. It's exhausting.
But maybe the ultimate luxury, the real high-end experience, isn't transformation. Maybe the ultimate luxury is just having someone skilled enough to help you be authentically, unapologetically yourself.
That's beautiful. In a world of filters, be intricate, be detailed, be you.
I love it. Well, this has been a blast. I feel more beautiful just talking about it.
As you should.
If you want more insights on navigating the chaos of weddings and finding cool vendors in Hawaii, make sure to subscribe to this deep dive. We'll be back with more breakdowns soon.
Thanks for listening.
See you next time.
Big thanks to Moana for sharing her wisdom. Whether you're looking for that luxury bridal experience or just need permission to rest before your big day, remember that true beauty is intricate. Until next time, stay salty, stay hitched, and we'll see you on the sands of Oahu.